Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and today we're going to be looking at the GKD Mini retro handheld. So let's take it out of the box, and the first thing you'll see is the handheld itself, and I have to say this handheld is absolutely gorgeous to hold. It's made of aluminium shell, and it just feels so high spec compared to the plastic handhelds that we're all used to. It's quite small in size as well, but it's not too small. The screen on it is beautiful as well. It's an IPS screen. Controls really good on it. D-pad, you know, very short move but nice and clicky, nice feel to it. And again, you have the usual A, B, Y, X buttons. And again, they just feel so good when you press them. Nice and clicky. You have your select, your start, and your menu buttons, as well as the button to change the brightness. On the bottom, you have your USB-C, your two speakers, and also your headphone jack. On the side, you have your volume rocker, so your plus and your minus. And then on the other side, you have two further buttons. Now these can be used when you're using the handheld vertical as well as horizontal, which I'll show you later on. And you have the usual R1, R2, L1, L2 buttons on the back. Nice and clicky again. Might be difficult to use if you have large hands, but as I have quite small hands, I didn't have any issues with it. And then you have your GKD Mini name at the top. So if you look at the specs, it has a 3.5 IPS display with a resolution of 320 by 240, and it has a tempered glass front. The display might not sound like a lot for the resolution, but you know, at 3.5 inch, it's not too bad. But the tempered glass screen really does look nice when switched off. It has a 1.5 gigahertz MIPS 32 CPU, and has 128 megabyte of RAM, a 2500 milliamp battery giving 4 to 5 hours playtime, a USB-C, and you can use up to a 512 gigabyte SD card to expand the memory. Okay, so let's switch it on. You'll see that it has 4 little red green dots at the top. That lets you know how much battery power you have left, which is great because it's a nice visual thing. One thing I will warn you is when you first boot up the GKD Mini straight out of the box, everything will be in Chinese. And I found it really difficult to navigate the operating system on it. I did manage it, but I had to use Google Translate in order to do it. I really wish companies would sort this out before shipping these handhelds out to European countries and English-speaking countries. But yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare to set up. One thing I did really dislike was the operating system. It's just a very basic one, and I think really this needs a custom firmware put onto it to improve it. But as it stands, I've seen much better. The other thing I found as well, when going into the emulators, and I'll show you now, was the actual game titles. Again, were all in Chinese. And this was the same for the majority of the games that comes pre-installed on the handheld. It was only because of the pictures that I knew roughly what the games were. But as it stands straight out of the box, again, this isn't ideal. And I really wish manufacturers of these handhelds would do these better and not send them out like this. It's like half finished. So what I ended up having to do is put my own ROMs on, as you can see. So I went into them here. Into my games, and then did it that way. So I've got all of my folders already set up with all the games in, and then they're in English, so I know exactly what it is I'm actually going to be playing and booting up. But as it stands straight out of the box, you will find that all of the games and all of the emulators are in Chinese, even if you change the language for the handheld itself. It doesn't change the language for the actual name of the games, which is really disappointing, quite annoying. Now you're probably thinking that I'm sounding quite negative about this handheld, but I'm going to be quite honest with you. I really, really do like it. I love the build quality on it. I love the design. And funnily enough, I like the screen as well. You will find that the screen isn't as sharp and as bright as some of the other handhelds that I've reviewed in the past. But on this size handheld, you know, the screen really is fairly decent on it. You know, yes, you're going to get some pixelation due to the specs of it, but overall, you know, I've got absolutely no complaints with the screen. It would have been nice if it had been a slightly higher resolution, but it's not, you know, and that's just something that you've got to get over. But I played this for quite some time over a couple of weeks when I was on holiday, and I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed playing this handheld. Yes, there are a few issues with some of the games and some of the emulators, and as you can see on the screen playing this game, there's a couple of times where you get a little bit of artifacts coming up. But considering the size of this machine, you know, honestly, it is really, really good. And I loved my time away playing with it. And I've probably spent more time playing this one than most of the other ones that I've reviewed in the past. So I think what I'll do is I'll just play a few games, let you see exactly how it runs, and what the screen looks like, and yeah, and I'll leave you in some peace. But like I said before, the resolution isn't the best. There are better handhelds out there for the resolution. However, personally speaking, I found the screen absolutely spot on. I didn't really have any complaints. So I'll let you see how the games run, and then let you make your own mind up. One thing I did want to show was the vertical play on this. I showed you earlier on when I was going through the buttons that there's 2 buttons on the side. So as well as playing horizontal as I am now, you can also play games vertically like this. So your D-pad remains the same, but you use the 2 buttons at the top for your shooting buttons, and it actually works really, really well. I was surprised when I tried it on how comfortable it would be, but it actually is okay. I think you might struggle if you have big hands, but with people like myself with smaller hands, it wasn't really an issue, and it works fairly well. As you can see, it's very, very playable this way, and it just adds a little bit of novelty to the handheld itself. So that's it, guys. That's the video for the GKD Mini and my impressions. It's a great little handheld, ideal to slip into your pocket and take away on your travels. Screen maybe could be better on it, but for this size handheld, it does the job and it does it well. So yeah, so if you want to grab yourself a GKD Mini, you can do so by following the link below, and please don't forget to like and share and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot, and see you next time.